My coworker almost got me fired for speaking Japanese to her crush, aka my boyfriend, so we taught her a few key phrases to impress the owner's also Japanese mom. I used to work at an upscale sushi place with my boyfriend Kenji, and everything there was great except for this one coworker named Bianca. From day one, she had it out for me, simply because of how handsome she thought Kenji was. He was half Japanese, meaning I knew his language, and Bianca for some reason despised this the most. The very first day she saw us together, me and Kenji were on lunch break, and the second I got up to use the bathroom, she made herself comfortable in my seat right next to him. She pressed her shoulders against his, and seeing as he was Japanese, she flashed this flirty smile at him and said, "Konnichiwa." When he awkwardly said it back, she grabbed a pair of chopsticks and started eating her noodles unsuccessfully, complaining to him about American girls appropriating his beautiful culture, very obviously referring to me. When I came back from the bathroom and saw them, she told me to grab a chair, telling me I was welcome to join in on their conversation. It definitely bothered me, but I was so secure in Kenji and I's relationship that I didn't mind, until Bianca started trying to implode Kenji and I's relationship. She'd corner him when I wasn't looking and tell him innuendo-style phrases in Japanese that she got off Google Translate. Whenever we were talking, she'd always squeeze past us, very slowly, sometimes making sure to rub her behind against Kenji, and other times facing him directly and giving him the F me eyes. The thing that really made me mad, though, was when she asked Kenji to come tutor her Japanese at her house after work. I was going to confront her there and then, but we were in the middle of a very busy service, and I told myself I'd do it right after. Big mistake. You see, at some point during service, these important Japanese businessmen came in for food. They were at my section, but Bianca practically shoved me aside to serve them. "Please speak Japanese. I understand everything," she told them. They looked very pleasantly surprised and started rattling off their order with specific modifications and allergies. Bianca just kept saying, hi, while scribbling nonsense. 45 minutes later, it was chaos. One guy got served the wrong starter. Another received 2 sushi orders instead of his chicken chow mein. And the third guy actually started having an allergic reaction to shellfish, which he asked to exclude. And that's when Bianca did it. While Kenji ran to get the EpiPen, she pointed at me and told her cousin, who was the manager, that I changed the order to sabotage her. And without verifying anything, her cousin wrote me up on the spot in front of everyone. "One more incident and you're terminated." I went home extremely crushed and just cried to Kenji. I was wondering if just quitting was my best option, until Kenji suggested something. If she wants me to teach her Japanese, let's do exactly that. Over the next few weeks, we set our plan into place. At the restaurant, Kenji and I feigned relationship problems, and of course, Bianca jumped at the opportunity to comfort him. She started sitting next to him again, placing his hand on her shoulder, getting dangerously close. And that's when Kenji went for it. He offered to teach her Japanese, not at her house, just here in the restaurant, and she jumped at it. Before I knew it, I'd catch them together in the back, Kenji teaching her these ridiculous phrases, her listening to him with puppy eyes and repeating them in the most seductive voice she could put on. Me and Kenji would exchange quick glances, trying not to laugh. Very soon, he convinced her to start saying these to customers. I was waitressing next to her when I heard her say "kuso baba," meaning crappy old hag, to an elderly Japanese lady for the first time. I had to focus so hard not to laugh. I spent the rest of the shift trying to listen to what she was saying, and I heard her say "busu shine" meant ugly bitch, go die, to a little 7-year-old girl. What made it even better was how she'd run to Kenji to tell him she did it, and how he'd smile at her and tell her she was doing great. For weeks, Bianca insulted customers in Japanese, telling them "kuso kuta shine," eat shut and die, "omae no senzo wo fakushiro," F your ancestors, or my personal favorite, "ore baka dakedo wakateru tsumori," I'm stupid and think I know what I'm saying. It all culminated on the night of the owner's mother's 80th birthday party. She was Japanese, and seeing her son for the first time in 3 years. The owner was of course there, and they reserved an entire section to themselves. It was set to be an amazing night. Bianca was waitressing, and that's when Kenji did it. He convinced her to go take the woman's order and told Bianca exactly what to say, and she did. She went up to the owner's mother, and with full confidence said, "Konnichiwa, kuso baba tsukayanai, ketsuni ki sushiro," meaning, "Hello, you dumb old good-for-nothing butch, kiss my behind." The room went dead silent. The owner's mother's face turned from pleasant anticipation to complete shock. The owner himself stood up so fast his chair fell backward. Everyone at the birthday table stared at Bianca in horror. Bianca, completely oblivious, kept smiling and bowing repeatedly. She even added a few more phrases Kenji had taught her, each one worse than the last. The owner's face went from red to purple as his mother started speaking rapidly in Japanese to him, her voice shaking with anger. That's when Kenji stepped forward. He bowed deeply to the owner's mother and started apologizing profusely in Japanese, explaining that Bianca had been tricked and didn't know what she was saying. He threw me under the bus completely, telling them I had taught her these phrases as revenge for being written up. The owner turned to me with fury in his eyes. "You're fired. Get out. Now." I stood there frozen, watching Kenji comfort Bianca as she started crying, finally understanding something had gone terribly wrong. He put his arm around her shoulders, still explaining to everyone in Japanese how I had orchestrated this whole thing. Bianca's cousin, the manager, was already on the phone with HR. I grabbed my things and left, my hands shaking. Outside in the parking lot, I sat in my car for 20 minutes, waiting for Kenji to come out and explain. When he finally did, he wasn't alone. Bianca was with him, still crying, and he was still comforting her. They didn't see me. I watched as he walked her to her car, rubbing her back as she sobbed about how humiliated she was. He kept telling her it wasn't her fault, that she was the victim here. When she finally drove away, I got out and confronted him. "What the hell was that?" I demanded. Kenji looked exhausted. "I had to do something. Did you see the owner's face? Someone had to take the blame. So you chose me? You're the one who wanted revenge," he said. "This was your idea." "It was your idea." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You said we should teach her those phrases." "I was trying to help you feel better," he said. "I didn't think you'd actually go through with it, and I definitely didn't think you'd let it go this far. We argued in that parking lot for an hour. By the end, we were both crying. He kept saying he felt terrible about what happened to Bianca, that she didn't deserve to be humiliated like that. I kept reminding him of all the things she'd done to me, but he just shook his head. Two wrongs don't make a right, he said. What we did was cruel. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying everything in my head. The next morning, I woke up to dozens of messages. Apparently, Bianca had posted on social media about being victimized and set up by jealous coworkers. She didn't name names, but everyone from work knew she meant me. Kenji texted me around noon. Bianca's really struggling. I'm going to check on her. I told him not to go. We were supposed to talk about us, figure out where we stood after last night's fight, but he said he felt responsible and needed to make sure she was okay. He was gone for 3 hours. When he came back, he looked guilty. She's a mess, he said. She can't stop crying. Her cousin had to fire her too. Company policy after what happened. Good, I said, but the word felt hollow. How can you say that? Kenji looked at me like I was a stranger. She lost her job because of us. She tried to get me fired first. And now you're even, he said. Except she's completely humiliated and the whole Japanese community is talking about it. The owner's mother told everyone at her temple. Bianca can't show her face anywhere. Over the next few days, Kenji kept texting Bianca to check on her. He'd show me the messages, trying to prove nothing inappropriate was happening. Just, how are you doing? And, I'm so sorry about everything. And, let me know if you need anything. She always responded with long paragraphs about how hurt and betrayed she felt, how she thought Kenji was different, how she couldn't trust anyone anymore. Each message was crafted to make him feel guiltier. A week later, our mutual friend Sarah called me. Just thought you should know. I saw Kenji's car at Bianca's apartment complex yesterday. My stomach dropped. When I confronted him, he admitted he'd gone to apologize in person. She wouldn't stop texting, he said. I thought if I apologized face to face, it would help her move on. And did it? He wouldn't meet my eyes. She was really upset. I stayed to calm her down. How long? A couple hours. I found out later from Sarah that his car had been there for 5 hours. When I brought this up, we had another huge fight. He accused me of being paranoid and jealous. I accused him of falling for Bianca's manipulation. She's not manipulating anyone, he said. She's genuinely hurt. Do you know she's been getting hate messages? People found out what happened and they're harassing her online. People are harassing her for insulting an elderly woman on her birthday. With words we taught her. He was practically yelling now. We did this to her. That's when I realized the guilt was eating him alive. And Bianca, whether consciously or not, was feeding that guilt every chance she got. 2 weeks after the incident, Kenji's mother called me. She'd heard about what happened through the Japanese community grapevine. The story had gotten twisted in the telling. Now I was the jealous girlfriend who had destroyed an innocent girl trying to learn Japanese. I'm very disappointed, she said in her accented English. Kenji tells me this Bianca girl just wanted to connect with her culture. She's not even Japanese, I protested. Half Japanese, she corrected. Kenji told me. No, that's not. Kenji is half Japanese. Bianca isn't Japanese at all. There was a pause. That's not what Kenji said. After we hung up, I confronted Kenji about lying to his mother. He got defensive, saying he hadn't lied, just simplified the story because it was too complicated to explain over the phone, but I could see something had shifted in him. He was rewriting history, making Bianca more sympathetic with each retelling. 3 weeks after the incident, I came home to find Kenji packing a bag. I need some space, he said. This whole thing has been too much. I need to think. Where are you going? My friend's place, he said, but he wouldn't look at me. Sarah texted me that night. I don't want to start drama, but Kenji's car is at Bianca's again. I drove over there myself. Sure enough, his car was in the visitor spot. I sat outside for an hour, debating whether to knock. Finally, I called him. I'm at work, he said. No, you're not. I can see your car. Long silence. Then, this isn't what it looks like. Then what is it? She was having a panic attack. She called me crying. What was I supposed to do? Not lie to me about it? He came down 20 minutes later. We sat in his car and he tried to explain. Bianca was struggling. She couldn't find another job because the story had spread through the restaurant community. She was behind on rent. She felt suicidal. She's playing you, I said. Not everything is manipulation, he shot back. Sometimes people are just hurting, and sometimes people use their hurt to manipulate others. We went in circles for an hour. By the end, we were both exhausted. He said he'd come home, but he needed me to stop being so suspicious of Bianca. I said I would try, but he needed to stop seeing her. He came home that night, but things weren't the same. He was distant, always on his phone. When I'd ask who he was texting, he'd say, just work stuff, but I knew it was her. A month after the incident, I was at the grocery store when I ran into Bianca. She looked perfectly fine, not like someone who'd been having panic attacks and suicidal thoughts. She was with a friend, laughing about something on her phone. When she saw me, her whole demeanor changed. Her shoulders slumped, her face fell, and she quickly walked away like she was afraid of me. But I'd seen her real face for those few seconds before she noticed me. She was fine. She was more than fine. That night, I tried to tell Kenji what I'd seen. He accused me of stalking her. I was buying groceries, and you just happened to run into her? Yes, and she was fine until she saw me. Then suddenly she's the victim again. Or maybe, he said slowly, like I was stupid. Seeing the person who orchestrated her humiliation triggered her trauma. Trauma. That was new. When had it become trauma? You're rewriting history, I said. We both did this. It was both our idea. And she's not traumatized. She's manipulative. Listen to yourself, he said. You sound paranoid. Maybe I was paranoid. But 2 days later, when Kenji said he was going to his friend's place to watch the game, I followed him. I'm not proud of it, but I had to know. He went straight to Bianca's. I sat in my car, watching his car in that visitor's spot, and I laughed. Actually laughed. Because of course he did. Of course she'd won. When he came home that night, I was sitting on the couch with his things packed. I saw you, I said simply. He didn't deny it, didn't make excuses, just sat down heavily and put his head in his hands. I don't know what I'm doing, he said. I'm so confused. I feel so guilty about everything. Do you have feelings for her? I don't know. Maybe. She understands what I'm going through because she's going through it too. She's going through it because she chose to harass me for months, and we chose to destroy her life. We embarrassed her at a party. She destroyed her own life by being awful to customers for weeks, but he wasn't listening anymore. The guilt had consumed him, and Bianca had positioned herself as the only one who could absolve it. He moved out that night, not to his friend's place, but not to Bianca's either. He got a small apartment, said he needed to figure things out. For the next 3 weeks, I threw myself into job hunting. Every morning, I'd update my resume, send out applications, and try not to think about the fact that Kenji hadn't called once since moving out. Sarah kept me updated though, whether I wanted her to or not. His car was at Bianca's again yesterday, she'd text. Just thought you should know. I'd stare at these messages and feel nothing. Or maybe I felt everything and it just canceled out to numbness. Either way, I stopped responding to Sarah's updates. What was the point? The restaurant community in our city wasn't huge. Word traveled fast about the birthday party incident, and every interview I went to, I could see the recognition in the manager's eyes when they connected my name to the story. Some were polite about it, going through the motions before never calling back. Others were more direct. We heard about what happened at Yamamoto's, one manager said, not even bothering to look at my resume. We can't have that kind of behavior here. I wanted to explain, to tell them the real story, but who would believe me? The version that had spread made me sound unhinged, a jealous girlfriend who taught her rival offensive phrases to humiliate her in front of the owner's family. The truth was messier, harder to explain, and frankly, I was tired of defending myself. 6 weeks after the incident, I was down to my last few $100s. My parents lived across the country, and I was too proud to ask them for help. I'd started applying to retail jobs, anything to pay rent, when my phone rang. Unknown number. Is this the girl who worked at Yamamoto's? The voice was older, female, with a slight Japanese accent. My stomach dropped. Who is this? My name is Yuki. I own Kiku, the restaurant on 5th Street. I heard about what happened. Great. Another person calling to tell me I'd never work in this town again. Look, I want to offer you a job. I nearly dropped the phone. What? Can you come by tomorrow at 2 p.m? The next day, I sat across from Yuki in her small but immaculate office. She was probably in her 60s, with sharp eyes that seemed to see right through me. I know the real story, she said without preamble. My nephew works at Yamamoto's. He saw this Bianca girl harassing customers for weeks. He told me what really happened. Relief flooded through me so fast I almost cried. Thank you. Thank you for believing. I don't tolerate bullies in my restaurant, she cut me off. And I don't tolerate people who can't take responsibility. You played a stupid game and it backfired. Can you admit that? I nodded. Yes, it was stupid. I was so angry. Anger makes us stupid, she said. The question is, did you learn? I started at Kiku the next week. It was smaller than Yamamoto's, more family style than upscale, but the staff was kind and the work was steady. I kept my head down, did my job, and slowly started to feel like myself again. Kenji finally texted me 2 months after moving out. Just, can we talk? I stared at that message for an hour before responding. Okay. We met at a coffee shop downtown, neutral territory. He looked terrible. Bags under his eyes, weight loss that made his clothes hang loose. Part of me felt satisfied seeing him like this. Most of me just felt sad. I made a mistake, he said before I even sat down. Which one? He flinched. All of it. Everything. I'm sorry. Are you with her now? He shook his head. We tried? I thought. He rubbed his face. She's not who I thought she was. I almost laughed. Really? What gave it away? Don't, he said quietly. Please. I know I deserve it, but just don't. So I didn't. I sat there and listened as he told me about the past 2 months. How Bianca had been everything he thought he wanted at first. Sweet, vulnerable, needing him. How she'd cried in his arms about the trauma of that night. How she couldn't eat or sleep. He'd felt like her protector, her savior. But then things started getting weird, he said. She'd get upset if I didn't text her back immediately. She'd show up at my apartment without calling. And she kept talking about you. Me? Constantly. Everything was about what you did to her. How you ruined her life. At first, I thought she was just processing, but it never stopped. Even when we were together, she'd bring you up. Now I did laugh. Bitter and short. So she got what she wanted and it wasn't enough. She started applying to restaurants again, he continued. Got an interview at this nice place downtown. But the night before, she called me crying, saying she was too traumatized to work in restaurants anymore. I told her she had to try, that she couldn't let one bad experience define her. She hung up on me. He paused, staring into his coffee. The next day, she called the restaurant and told them I was her ex who was stalking her, that I might show up and cause problems. They called my work to verify I wasn't dangerous. My boss had to get involved. It was humiliating. Jesus, I muttered. When I confronted her, she said she panicked, that the thought of working in a restaurant again triggered her and she wasn't thinking clearly. But then she smiled, just for a second, but I saw it. She enjoyed the chaos. We sat in silence for a while. Around us, people chatted and laughed, living their normal lives. I'm not asking you to take me back, he finally said. I know I ruined everything. I just wanted you to know that I know I was wrong about everything. Thanks, I said, because what else was there to say? Are you working? Yeah. Kiku on 5th. That's good. Yuki's good people. She is. He stood up to leave, then paused. For what it's worth, Bianca's telling everyone I manipulated her into a relationship while she was vulnerable. Says I took advantage of her trauma. Some people believe her. Of course they do, I said. She's good at playing the victim. Yeah, he said quietly. She really is. After he left, I sat there for another hour, processing. I thought I'd feel vindicated, but mostly I just felt empty. We'd all played stupid games and we'd all won stupid prizes. Work at Kiku became my anchor. Yuki was tough but fair, and she had this way of cutting through BS that I appreciated. When she found out about my history with Kenji and Bianca, she just shook her head. Men are idiots, she said, but women who chase after taken men are worse. They create their own karma. 3 months into working there, I was finally feeling stable again. I had a routine, some new work friends, and most importantly, I'd stopped checking Kenji's social media. Sarah still tried to give me updates sometimes, but I'd gotten good at changing the subject. Then Bianca showed up at Kiku. It was a busy Friday night. I was running between tables when I saw her at the host stand. My blood went cold. She was with a guy I didn't recognize, dressed up like it was a date. When the host started to lead them to my section, I grabbed Yuki. I can't serve her, I said. Please. Yuki took one look at my face and understood. Take your break. I'll handle it. I hid in the kitchen, trying to calm my racing heart. What was she doing here? Was it coincidence, or had she found out where I worked? 20 minutes later, Yuki found me. me. She asked for you specifically. What? Said she heard you worked here and wanted to apologize. I told her you were off tonight. Thank you. She didn't believe me. Made quite a scene, actually. Her date looked embarrassed. I peeked out the kitchen window. Bianca was gesturing dramatically while her date studied the menu, clearly uncomfortable. Even from across the restaurant, I could see she was putting on a show. Let me serve them, I said suddenly. Yuki raised an eyebrow. You sure? Yeah, I'm sure. I walked to their table with my best server smile. Hi, welcome to Kiku. Can I start you with some drinks? Bianca's face went through several expressions: surprise, satisfaction, then something like disappointment when I didn't react more. Oh my god, hi, I heard you worked here. I've been wanting to talk to you. What can I get you to drink? I repeated, pen poised over my notepad. Didn't you hear me? I want to apologize for everything. Her date shifted uncomfortably. Babe, maybe we should just order. No, this is important, she said, grabbing my wrist. I need you to know that I forgive you. I carefully extracted my arm. I'll give you a few minutes to look at the menu. You're not going to say anything? Her voice rose. After everything you did to me? Other tables were starting to look. I kept my smile fixed. I'll be back in a few minutes. As I walked away, I heard her date say, what was that about? She's the one I told you about, Bianca said loudly. The one who destroyed my life. I served them professionally, ignoring her attempts to engage. Each time I approached, she'd try to bring up the past, and each time I'd redirect to their order. Her date grew increasingly uncomfortable, eventually just focusing on his phone. When they finished, Bianca flagged me down. We need the check. Unless you're going to overcharge us like you sabotaged my orders, I'll get that right away, I said pleasantly. At the register, Yuki pulled me aside. You okay? Actually, yeah, I am. And I was. Seeing Bianca try so hard to get a reaction, watching her date's embarrassment, hearing her still clinging to her victim narrative months later, it all just seemed pathetic. She'd gotten everything she wanted: Kenji, sympathy, attention, and she was still here, trying to provoke me. They left without tipping, of course. Bianca made sure to complain loudly about the service on her way out. Her date looked like he wanted to disappear into the floor. She's broken, Yuki said after they left. People like that, they need drama to feel alive. You did good not giving her what she wanted. A week later, Sarah called with news. You'll never guess who just got hired at Yamamoto's. My stomach sank. Bianca's back? No, better. Remember that guy she was with at your restaurant? Turns out he's the new sous chef. And get this, he already broke up with her. Told everyone she's crazy, that she's obsessed with you and Kenji. I don't care, I said, and meant it. How do you even know all this? I still have friends there. They said she showed up during service last night, crying and begging him to take her back. Security had to escort her out. It was a whole thing. I thought about how satisfying that should feel, but it just made me tired. Sarah, I need you to stop telling me about her, about any of them, please. But don't you want to know? No, I really don't. There was a pause. Okay, you're right, I'm sorry. After we hung up, I felt lighter somehow, like I'd finally set down a weight I'd been carrying without realizing it. 2 weeks later, I was closing up at Kiku when someone knocked on the locked door. My heart sank when I saw Kenji through the glass. I considered pretending I hadn't seen him, but Yuki was watching from the office. 5 minutes, I called through the door. He waited outside while I finished my side work, then followed me to my car. I'm sorry to ambush you. I heard about Bianca coming here, okay? I wanted to make sure you were all right. I'm fine. She's been unstable since that guy broke up with her. She's been texting me again. I leaned against my car. And you're telling me this why? Because she's fixated on the idea that if she can get us back together, everything will go back to normal. She keeps saying she wants to apologize to both of us, to make things right. There is no us to get back together, I said. You made sure of that. He flinched. I know. I've told her that, but she won't listen. She showed up at my apartment last night. That sounds like your problem, not mine. You're right. It is. I just wanted to warn you. She might escalate. I studied him in the dim parking lot light. He looked even worse than before, if that was possible. Kenji, what do you want from me? Nothing. I worry about you. Don't, I said, getting into my car. I'm not your responsibility anymore. The next few weeks passed quietly. I picked up extra shifts, started saving money again, even went on a couple dates with a regular customer who'd been flirting with me. Nothing serious, but it felt good to remember I could be attracted to someone who wasn't Kenji. Then the texts started. Unknown number. We need to talk about Kenji. I blocked it. New unknown number. Ignoring me won't make the truth go away. Blocked again. The third time, she got creative. I'm pregnant. I stared at that text for a long time. Then I screenshot it and blocked that number too. But the seed of doubt was planted. What if she was telling the truth? What if Kenji? Number, I wasn't going down that road. Whatever drama Bianca was creating now, it had nothing to do with me. But the texts kept coming, from new numbers every few days. Details about her supposed pregnancy, about Kenji's reaction, about how I needed to know the truth. I blocked them all without responding, but each one chipped away at my peace of mind. Finally, I changed my number. It was a hassle, updating everything and letting people know, but the silence was worth it for about a week. Then she found my new number. You can't hide from this forever. This time I didn't block her. I called the police. The officer who took my report looked bored. Has she threatened you? No, but she won't stop contacting me. From different numbers? Yes. Can you prove it's the same person? I showed him the screenshots. He scrolled through them with mild interest. These are annoying, but they're not threatening. Unless she escalates, there's not much we can do. So I just have to put up with it? You can file for a restraining order, but you'll need more evidence of harassment. Document everything. If she shows up at your work or home, call us immediately. I left the station feeling defeated. The system that was supposed to protect me needed her to do something worse before they'd help. Meanwhile, I jumped every time my phone buzzed. A few days later, Yuki pulled me aside at work. Someone called asking about your schedule. Said she was your sister with a family emergency. I told her to contact you directly. I don't have a sister. Yuki's face hardened. That woman? Probably. I'll make sure everyone knows not to give out your information. That night, I finally broke down and called Kenji. Is she really pregnant? Silence. Then, she says she is. Do you believe her? I don't know. She won't take a test in front of me. Says I should trust her. Jesus Christ, Kenji. I know. I'm handling it. Are you? Because she's stalking me. What? I told him about the texts, the calls to my work, the police report. He listened in silence. I'll talk to her, he said finally. Don't. Just stay away from her. Get a paternity test if you need to, but stop engaging with her. It's not that simple. It really is. We hung up with without resolving anything. What was there to resolve? We'd created this mess together, but now we were dealing with the fallout separately. The next morning, I woke up to find my car keyed. A long, deep scratch ran from the front bumper to the back. No cameras in my apartment's parking lot, no witnesses, no proof it was her, but who else would it be? I filed another police report. The officer, a different one this time, was more sympathetic but equally unhelpful. Without evidence, we can't connect this to your stalking case, so she can just destroy my property and get away with it? I understand your frustration. Keep documenting everything. These cases often escalate before we can take action. That's comforting, I muttered. The damage estimate was $800, money I didn't have. I started parking on different streets, varying my routine, looking over my shoulder everywhere I went. This was what she'd reduced me to, paranoid and constantly afraid. Sarah reached out a week later. I almost didn't answer, but something in her voice when she left the voicemail made me call back. I know you don't want to hear about her, Sarah said immediately, but I think you should know. She's telling people you're stalking her now, that you're the one sending threatening messages. What? She's showing people texts from your old number. Obviously fake, but some people believe her. She's really convincing. I laughed. Actually laughed. The audacity was almost admirable. Of course she is. What are you going to do? Nothing. Let people believe what they want. But your reputation. Sarah, I'm tired. I have a job where people respect me. I'm saving money. I'm moving on. If people want to believe her lies, that's their choice. I just hate that she's getting away with this. She's not getting away with anything, I said. She's miserable. Happy people don't act like this. Whatever victory she thinks she's won, she's still the one showing up at restaurants to harass exes and keying cars in parking lots. After we hung up, I realized I meant it. Somewhere in all this mess, I'd stopped caring about winning or losing. I just wanted peace. But Bianca wasn't done yet. 2 nights later, I was closing at Kiku when the alarm went off. Someone had thrown a brick through the front window. By the time the police arrived, whoever did it was long gone. No cameras caught the perpetrator, but there was a note tied to the brick. Stop ignoring me. Yuki was furious. Not at me, but at the situation. This affects my business now. This is too much. I'm so sorry. I'll quit if you want. Don't be stupid, she snapped. You're not letting her win. But we're installing cameras tomorrow, and you're not closing alone anymore. The police took the note as evidence. Finally, they were taking it seriously. The detective assigned to my case, a tired-looking woman named Martinez, actually seemed competent. This escalation is concerning, she said. The pregnancy claims, the property damage, now this. Has she made any direct threats? No, just harassment. We'll increase patrols around your home and work. If you see her, call immediately. Don't engage. Trust me, I won't. But I didn't see her. For 2 weeks, nothing. No texts, no vandalism, no surprise visits. The silence was almost worse than the harassment. At least when she was actively bothering me, I knew where she was, what she was doing. Now I was constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop. It dropped on a Tuesday afternoon. I was grocery shopping when I turned a corner and almost ran into them. Kenji and Bianca together, looking at produce like a normal couple. She saw me first. Her face lit up with triumph. Oh look, honey, it's your ex. Kenji looked like he wanted to disappear. Let's go, he said quietly, trying to steer her away. No, this is perfect. She grabbed his arm. We can tell her our news together. I started backing away, but she followed. We're having a baby. Isn't that wonderful? Kenji's going to be a daddy. Bianca, stop, Kenji said, but she wasn't listening. We're so happy, she continued, her smile sharp. Everything worked out exactly how it was supposed to. I got the man, the baby, the life, and you got what exactly? I looked at Kenji, really looked at him. He was trapped, miserable, being paraded around like a trophy. This wasn't winning. This was just another form of losing. Congratulations, I said, and meant it. They deserved each other. I abandoned my cart and left. In my car, I called Martinez. I just ran into her. She cornered me in the grocery store. Did she threaten you? Number just gloated about being pregnant. Without threats or violence, it's not violation of the restraining order we're building, but document it. Time, place, witnesses if any. There were cameras in the store. Good. Get that footage if you can. But I didn't. I was done collecting evidence, done building cases, done letting Bianca control my life. Instead, I went home and started looking at apartments in other cities. Maybe it was running away, but I preferred to think of it as choosing peace. That night, Kenji called. I almost didn't answer. I'm sorry about today, he said. I didn't know she knew where you shop. Are you back together? Number, I mean, it's complicated. She is pregnant. I saw the test, but I don't. We're not together. I'm just trying to do the right thing. The right thing, I repeated. Okay. She's sick. I mean, actually sick. Mental health issues. Her family's trying to get her help, but she refuses. She thinks everyone's against her. Everyone is against her because she's stalking and harassing people. I know. I'm not making excuses. I wanted you to know I'm not with her. Not really. Kenji, I don't care anymore. Whatever you're doing, whoever you're with, it's not my problem. Please stop calling me. I just worry. Stop worrying about me. Worry about yourself. Worry about that baby if it's real, but leave me out of it. I hung up and blocked his number too. Then I started packing. I found an apartment in a city 3 hours away. Nothing fancy, just a studio above a bakery, but it was mine and Bianca didn't know where it was. I gave Yuki 2 weeks notice and she understood completely. Sometimes the only way to win is to walk away, she said, handing me an envelope. Your last paycheck plus a bonus. Start fresh. The move happened fast. I hired movers for the furniture and drove my keyed car myself, the scratch a permanent reminder of how things had spiraled. Sarah helped me pack, though she kept trying to update me on the latest drama. Bianca's been showing up at Yamamoto's every day, she said, wrapping dishes. The owner had to ban her, and apparently she's been telling everyone that Kenji abandoned her while pregnant. I taped up another box. Sarah, right, sorry, no updates. The morning I left, I found a letter slipped under my door. No return address, but I recognized Bianca's handwriting. I threw it away unopened. Whatever she had to say, I didn't need to hear it. My new job was at a small Italian place, nothing like the sushi restaurants I was used to. The owner, Jonathan, was a cheerful guy who didn't ask about my past. The other servers were friendly but not nosy. It was exactly what I needed. For 3 months, life was quiet. I learned to make pasta, picked up some Italian phrases from the kitchen staff, even started dating one of the regulars, a teacher named Nathan who who made me laugh and had never heard of Yamamoto's. My phone stayed silent. No unknown numbers, no harassment, no drama. Then Sarah called on a Wednesday afternoon. I almost didn't answer, but she'd been good about respecting my boundaries lately. I'm only calling because this affects you directly, she said quickly. Bianca's been arrested. My stomach clenched. For what? She broke into Kenji's apartment. His neighbor called the cops. She was destroying his stuff, screaming about how he ruined her life. They found a knife. I sat down slowly. Is he okay? Yeah, he wasn't home. But here's the thing. When they searched her car, they found a bunch of stuff. Photos of you, printouts of your social media from before you deleted it, and this whole notebook where she'd been planning to find you. Planning to find me? She hired a private investigator. That's how she got your new number before. The PI dropped her as a client when she started talking about making you pay, but she kept all his notes. My hands were shaking. Should I be worried? She's in custody. Kenji's pressing charges, and with the stalking evidence you filed before, plus the vandalism at Kiku, they're taking it seriously. The detective wants to talk to you. Martinez called an hour later. She explained that with Bianca's arrest and the evidence found, they were building a solid case. She needed me to come back and give a statement, but assured me Bianca would remain in custody. We found evidence linking her to the vandalism of your car and the brick at the restaurant, Martinez said. She kept trophies, photos of your keyed car, the brick receipt, even videos of herself following you. Videos? She was building what she called a documentary about how you ruined her life. It's disturbing, but it's also excellent evidence. I drove back the next week, staying with Sarah while I dealt with the legal stuff. The statement took hours. They showed me some of what they'd found. Pages and pages of Bianca's writings about me, about Kenji, about her plans for revenge. It was worse than I'd imagined. She was escalating, Martinez explained. The pregnancy was fake. She bought a positive test online. She was using it to manipulate Mr. Tanaka, but when he started pulling away, she focused back on you. Why me though? She got what she wanted. She got Kenji. People like this need an enemy, Martinez said. When things don't work out, they can't accept responsibility. You were her scapegoat. I ran into Kenji at the courthouse. He looked healthier than the last time I'd seen him, but tired. We sat on opposite ends of a bench, waiting for our separate appointments. I'm sorry, he said quietly, for everything. I should have seen what she was doing. We both should have seen it, I said. We were too busy playing games to notice we were dealing with someone genuinely unstable. The detective said she'd been planning this for months, even before the birthday party incident. She targeted me because I was with you, not the other way around. I thought about all those early interactions, how calculated they'd seemed even then. It doesn't matter now. I guess not. He stood up to leave, then paused. For what it's worth, I hope you're happy. Wherever you ended up, I am, I said, and meant it. Take care of yourself, Kenji. The legal proceedings dragged on for months. Bianca's family hired a good lawyer who tried to paint her as a victim of mental illness, which wasn't entirely wrong, but the evidence was overwhelming. She eventually took a plea deal, probation, mandatory psychiatric treatment, and a restraining order keeping her away from both Kenji and me. I had to come back once more for the final hearing. Bianca was there, looking smaller than I remembered, flanked by her parents. She tried to catch my eye, but I focused on the judge. When it was over, her mother approached me in the hallway. I'm sorry, she said, tears in her eyes. We didn't know how bad it had gotten. We thought she was just going through a rough patch after losing her job. I didn't know what to say, so I just nodded. What was there to say? We'd all failed to see how sick she was until it was too late.